There's this very weird obsession in the self-help industry with morning routines. There's the ideal morning routine, there's the perfect morning routine, the best morning routine, and the ultimate morning routine. There's the morning routine for success and productivity, the morning routine to boost your energy and motivation, to unlock your maximum potential, and the morning routine that makes you limitless. And obviously all of this is scientifically proven and data proven and whatever else proven. But are they really? Do they really prime you for success and motivation and a good mood? Or is this just another way of influencers, celebrities, and self-help gurus to promote themselves, make you feel shit about yourself in the process, and then have you buy their products? Let's find out together. I want to preface this by saying that morning routines are not bad per se. Everyone has a morning routine. That includes you, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. However, the morning routine of most people probably looks something like this. You get up at 6 or 7 in the morning, at least you try to, because you snooze a minimum of 2 times before realizing in horror that you're gonna be late. Which means you go and hectically jug down a cup of coffee, you get dressed. If you have kids or pets, you take care of them, send them to school, feed them, whatever you have to do. You forget half of the things because you're in such a rush, and then you run to catch the overly crowded bus that will bring you to work. When you do this on a regular basis, whether intentional or not, it is a routine. And no, this routine is not ideal. I've been there myself, and it really sucks. Probably you also realize this and you want to change. So naturally, you turn to other people to get inspiration of what you could change, how you could improve your morning routines in an attempt to get your life in order. And in this day of age, naturally, you hop on social media and you watch what all of these influencers and celebrities and self-help gurus do in the mornings, which essentially boils down to this. You get up at 4:30, maybe 5 a.m. in the morning, but really 5:30 the latest, because otherwise, I mean, come on, it's just too late. You make your bed, then you drink a glass of lemon water. For some reason, you kind of dunk your head in a bowl with ice water. I haven't really understood it yet, but maybe someone can explain it to me. Then you do some exercise, you can do some yoga or stretching. You can head to the gym to lift weights, you can go for a run. Ideally though, you do all 3 of them, but if you're pressed for time, you're excused if you only do 1. Then you head for a sauna, because obviously your gym or your home has a sauna, before taking a cold shower. Ideally though, you take an ice bath, but not really an option in summer in most places. Followed by some meditation, writing in your gratitude journal, before eating the most healthy breakfast on earth, which is accompanied by a triple espresso. I mean, no wonder if you get up at 4 a.m. that you need a triple espresso, but we'll just pretend that you would do this anyway, all while reading a book or listening to a podcast. Yet just listing all of this, I mean, no wonder you feel a loser after watching these videos. You already failed and the day hasn't even started yet. And this is exactly where I see some of the problems with all of these influencer morning routines. Again, as a disclaimer, most of the things that I just listed, if not all of them, are not inherently bad. Most of these things are either neutral or actually something good. But still, I have 3 arguments why I'm not really a fan of all of these influencer routines. The first is that it just takes incredibly long, because you cannot cram all of this into 30 minutes or even 1 hour. At least I don't know how I would do this. And this means it can take a lot of time away from your mornings. You can spend several hours on such a morning routine. Which also means that you will have to get up earlier just to complete all of this. And most people already don't sleep enough. Which also means that if you get up earlier, you have to go to bed earlier. But this either means you miss out on social events, or it's just not compatible with your other obligations. Meaning, if you get up that early, probably you sacrifice some sleep for it. Not good. The other thing is that such an elaborate and lengthy morning routine can also be used as a means of procrastination, to basically put off all your responsibilities and your priorities because for some reason you don't want to do them. And it's a very neat excuse to say, oh, but I have to do this morning routine to get me started, when in fact I think you don't, if you have something you're excited about. My second critique is that these morning routines basically all start at obscenely early times in the morning, which completely ignores both the chronotype of people but also their responsibilities and their life circumstances. Depending on your work schedule, the type of work you do, if you have a family or not, this is quite unrealistic for many people. To give you an example, when I worked in the hospital, I worked the late shift, meaning that routinely I would end my shift at around 11 in the evenings, meaning that I'd be home by midnight. Now, if I had to get up at 4 or even 5 in the morning, I would definitely not get enough sleep. So this was just not compatible with the shift work that I was doing back then. And I feel like this is the same for many people. Depending on your obligations, on your work schedules, this is not feasible. And then you feel like a loser because you get up at, let's say, 7 or 8 in the morning instead of 4 or 5. And this brings me to my third point, which is that many of these routines, especially if they claim to be the most ideal for productivity or for your health or whatever, they make false promises. Even though they might be scientifically proven or data proven or whatever else proven, it is not always proven that this will actually make you, and you specifically, healthier or more productive or happier. Maybe this comes from the obsession that a morning routine will really make or break your day and your success in the long run, with the logic being that if you do the exact morning routine of whatever celebrity or successful person that you want, then you will become just as successful as them, which will obviously not happen. Just because a certain morning routine works for, let's say, Jeff Bezos, doesn't mean that you will become just as successful and as rich as him if you do his morning routine. Because just because it works for him at the moment doesn't mean that it will work for you. Probably have quite different circumstances right now. Also, it's a bit of a chicken and egg problem. Let's stick with Jeff. Just because he does this morning routine at the present moment doesn't mean that this is also the routine that got him there. In other words, the morning routine of Jeff could be a result of his currently very successful life, but not the cause of it. And I think these two often get mixed up a little. And my last point with these false promises is that on the one hand, if you do follow through with these routines and you don't see the results that you were promised, that can leave you quite frustrated. And on the other hand, if you don't hit all of the points that are suggested by this morning routine, then you might feel like a failure too. And this is obviously not good. How I want to conclude this part is that we should look at these routines with a little grain of salt. Okay, maybe lots of salt, but don't take them for face value. Because if you eat crap, if you don't exercise, if you don't sleep enough, if you hate your job, no morning routine will fix this. On the other hand, if you're generally healthy, you exercise regularly, you eat well, you like your job, then you don't need a fancy and elaborate morning routine to get you started. So how should we approach things then? I think it is important to have a morning routine, because unless you change what you do after waking up each and every single day, you will end up with a routine, be it intentionally or not. But instead of having no plan at all and being very unstructured, wasting your time wandering around and figuring things out as you go each and every morning, I think it's good to have something in place to give you some sort of structure. And I do think these videos have some value in providing inspiration, but they shouldn't be seen as an obligation. You should look at these videos, see what interesting elements they have, try it out, and if it works for you, then great, keep it. But if it doesn't add any value, if it just robs you of time and energy, then just don't do it. And whether something is scientifically proven or ideal or not, in the end it has to work for you and for your current life. Just because it works for Jeff Bezos doesn't mean it works for you as well. Because chances are that your lives are quite different. But it also means you should be flexible enough to adapt your routine when your circumstances or your priorities change. You shouldn't be so rigid in your routines that you lose sight of why you're doing them in the first place. So what do you think about all of this? Do you actually like these influencer morning routines? Do you think I'm completely missing the point here? Let me know down in the comments. Also, I'm interested what you are doing each and every morning to get going. Maybe I can learn something and incorporate bits and pieces into my current morning routine. As always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.